Well, hey, book lovers, welcome to Young Adult Edition. I am so excited to see you guys today. We have a very dear friend of mine hanging out with us tonight, and I cannot wait to get started. So, without any further ado, we're going to bring Courtney Sloan on in just a minute. So, let me get to our intro, and then we can bring her on. Okay, well, Courtney, welcome to Young Adult Edition. I am so glad that you are here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here, Katie. As always, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I know, you and I have the best times. Guys, if you don't know, if you haven't seen any of our other shows together, we hang out all the time. We talk all the time. So when you come and hang out with us, you just get to see the inside of what it is like to hang out with the two of us. And it tends to be crazy.
Crazy, scary, and a whole lot of fun.
It is so much fun. Oh my gosh. You're like my favorite person ever. We really need to hang out in person. We keep making these plans, guys, and it's going to happen. And we're going to put it all on social media for you. That's just the way it's going to go. All right. So let's jump right in. We want to hear a little bit about your book. So in under 1 minute, I want you to tell me everything I need to know about your book. I've got my timer here. And are you using your timer, or are we just using mine?
We're going to use your timer so I can concentrate on the task at hand.
Okay. So I'll be behind the scenes so you guys can't see me, but I will flash you when we've got 5 seconds left. Okay?
All right.
Here we go.
All right. Of Scions and Men. It's a dystopian urban fantasy. It takes place in the new U.S. capital of Chicago, and it's after the supernatural community has saved humanity from the terror wars. Vampire took over the government while humanity rebuilt, and 50 years later, he's still in control. The U.S. humanity has free education, free healthcare, and all it costs them is mandatory blood donations each quarter. In fact, blood is traded on the open market, and humans are basically a poor subrace. The only ones who do well are the Scions, and the one that's the main character, Rowan, has sold herself as a personal blood source Scion to one single vampire. The life of Rowan Brady is she tries to balance working for the new American government while taking down the supernatural bad guys and kicking some major ass. All this really works until a serial killer shows up and raises the ante.
You got it! Yes! Good job. You had like a second to spare. That was awesome.
Yay!
So guys, we're going to hear a little bit more about Courtney's book in just a little bit. But before we get to that, I want to talk to you a little bit about some stuff that's been going on in your week and everything that we've been doing. But first, we are going to play a little game. So how about Two Truths and a Lie, confetti style?
Ooh, tough one.
I know. And I was telling you before, I apparently am terrible at this game. So let's see how badly I fail with your Two Truths and a Lie. So go ahead, tell me what you've got. If I fail, you get to throw confetti. And if I win, I get to throw confetti. So.
All right. I'm armed and ready to go.
Okay.
All right. I have gone skydiving in the Alps with the airborne unit. I have participated in an actual live voodoo ceremony. And I am a black belt.
Okay. I mean, I know you do martial arts. I know you do this. And I feel like you just got a different color belt. I don't know. Oh gosh. And I feel like you definitely did the plain thing, and I feel like you definitely did the voodoo thing. So I'm gonna say the belt. Am I failing miserably?
Nope, you got it. I'm a red belt before, so you got it.
The first time.
You know me too well.
I do. You just got a red belt, right? It was red.
Yep.
Yes.
I did. I got a red belt. Got that. That's how this happened. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. You're gonna tell me about that when we go off camera. Oh gosh. But here's the thing. I remember that because red is your color. Like for as long as I've known you, red is your color, which is why I have red confetti today and why it's all over my floor now. So there we go. I got it. That's awesome. And we are definitely going to do some little sound bites about this whole plane thing and voodoo thing at some point.
Absolutely.
Behind the scenes stories coming later this week. All right. So talk to me. How's your week going? Everything going good?
My week is going well. It's very busy. I think all of us are, at least all of us here in the U.S., are a little bit tumultuous this week with everything that's been going on. But the week for me has been my usual balance of my day job, which I really love, and writing and working on all the stuff for both my book and my husband's book and everything that's coming up.
Yeah, it's really awesome because if you guys don't know, Courtney's husband JP is also an author. And here's a little bonus here. JP is actually going to be with us on our RTTV educational channel for authors once we wrap up with the show. So if you want to hang out and meet him too, make sure you do that. We are going to move on because I am really excited about this next thing. I want to talk to you about an exclusive piece of information about your books, and I know we chatted about this before, and you've got a great one. So tell me, what is your exclusive piece of information about your book?
So this is real behind the scenes. Authors do a lot of research. Authors have to do a lot of work, and for my book of Scions and Men, all the work I did on it ended me up on the high-risk flight list. So flying for about 2 years became a nightmare.
That's kind of amazing. I love that so much. Like, I'm just picturing this scene of you trying to get on a plane and just amazing. So there you go, guys. She was on the flight risk list for long enough to be a pain in the neck.
Oh yeah, there were body swabs and all my luggage had to be taken apart. It was so wonderful.
It was so great. I'm kind of glad I didn't travel with you at that point. So our next trip, we're going to keep you off the flight list, right?
That's right. I'm being very careful, making sure my research doesn't have to do with maximum payloads of bombs anymore.
I don't even know how to respond to that. That's amazing. Okay, so speaking of books, I want to talk to you about the book world as a whole. And so every week on Young Adult Edition, I always ask our authors what their biggest book nerd problem is. Because here we are all book lovers, we all love reading, and we all have issues because we are book nerds. So tell me, what is your biggest book nerd problem?
My biggest book nerd problem are plot bunnies. They constantly come in, and from everything that I see and I watch and I think about, and just in that time period when I'm between sleeping and awake, all these plots come into my head. I'm like, oh, that would be such a great book to write. Oh, I know where I'd go with that. And they constantly plague me. And I found the one way to wrangle plot bunnies is I have an entire section of my Dropbox that is nothing but plot ideas and sometimes full outlines for what I'm going to write next.
Wow. Hey, can I get some information out of you? How many you got there? Give me a guess.
I believe the last count was actually, and this is kind of embarrassing, 41.
Guys, so we can be expecting 41 new books from Courtney in the next couple of years.
As long as you mainline me some adrenaline, caffeine, and sugar.
Yay, hey, we can do that. We can do that. We will make that effort. 41, that's a lot. My goodness, that's awesome. Now, I feel like after we go off air, we're just going to have to talk about your ideas so that I can decide which one I want to read next. And we can just schedule your life.
I'll put them in order.
Yes.
You know how we put them in order? Excellent.
Yes, my order, my preference. Whatever Katie wants to read.
Katie get.
Exactly. And then you come on the show and talk about it. That's the way it works.
Sounds great.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so now that we're done talking about the book world in general, let's talk specifically about your book. So I know we heard a little bit about your book. We got that in under 1 minute, and you did it, which is awesome. Now I want to hear a little bit more about what we're looking at. So I know that you've put a lot of time and effort into this. I want to know about your main character. Tell me, how did you come up with her?
Well, actually, a large part of how I came to Rowan's character was you listen to when people talk about women in literature and in fiction, and there's a big debate going on about female agency. And even among female authors and those who are strong feminists, there's a big debate over whether someone can be maternal and still have agency. And I knew I didn't want to make her a mother because that's just going too far into it. So I gave her the responsibility of her younger brother. And I let vampire stand for patriarchy and in a world that was very much stacked against her. I mean, as my husband puts it, I am not kind to my characters. They have a hard life. And I wanted her to be able to stand up in that hard world at the same time of being feminine and able to care maternally for her younger brother and do the things that need to be done without them having to be done for her, kind of working the system from the inside.
Gotcha. She is fantastic because that is such a role model there. Tell me a little bit more about her brother. How does he fit into all of this? How does that work?
Well, they all were living in the slums. I mean, humanity has a lot offered to them in the way of being kept alive, but they were living in slums. Her parents, neither of them were Scion, so they had no money. They were starving. And when she went off to school, her younger brother, who was 3 at the time, her parents tried to get him away, tried to get him out of the society to try and find a new place to be, and they ended up dying for it. And she ended up having to go get her brother, and at a very young age, she was about 18 and he was about 3. She was left in the slums with a little boy who then became her entire world.
That makes sense. So I know before you had mentioned that she goes through an awful lot of things, and she has to do a lot of things that she wouldn't necessarily want to do if she didn't have to take care of her brother. And I know that you said that you like to kind of be a little mean to your characters. So what is the meanest thing that you've done to her, and what is the meanest thing that you've done to any of your characters?
The meanest thing I will say that I have done to her, I can't fully tell you because it's in book 2 right now. But the meanest thing in book 1 that I did to her was I made her actually have to sell herself. In order to keep them alive, she sold herself as a Scion. And in this world, any human that looks at her now looks at her basically as a whore because she provides blood for one vampire. And she has to live with that scarlet letter every day and look at her younger brother with that basically emblazoned on her chest.
Now, I know before you and I have talked a lot about your book within Young Adult Edition and within our author live events, and you've mentioned that you like to pull politics into your books. So I know that you do a lot of things that are very, very relevant to us this modern day, and you put that into your story. So is that something that you are going to plan on doing for all of your stories? Is this specific to this series? And how did you come up with the inspiration of pulling politics into it?
Well, and I think this is a great week to talk about it. Politics is something we can't really get away from. We can sit there and have our microcosm of this is our characters' lives, but politics affects us all. It is a part of what creates our societies. And so it became very important that when this global thing happens, start shutting down borders, politics becomes actually harsher as you close down more and more borders. And when you want to change your world, you have to change the society in which you live to make that happen. And so it really came about in that way of saying, all right, she can't change her world unless she changes the world that controls it. And so politics came into being. And then when you look at it that way, then those in charge are all governed by the politics that are around them. And so it really becomes this intricate web of how everything pulls the strings of everything else. The first one really does have a lot to do with female empowerment. And I'll let you know the second one actually has a lot to do with civil disobedience. At what point is civil disobedience a mechanism to make change? And at what point does it become terrorism and you become the very things you don't want?
That is a great point. And guys, extra bonus there, we just learned a little bit about book 2, which is totally awesome, and we're totally gonna snip that one up and put it on social media.
Don't tell the publisher too much.
Yes, we have to keep something secret, you know. All right, so we are ready to move on. We are wrapping up our time. We've got a little bit of time left, and I want to open it up for questions. So to those of you who are hanging out with us, jump over in the chat box on the right side of your screen, and you can see where you can start typing in questions that you have for Courtney. It can be about her books. It can be about her author journey. It can be about life in general, because we like to do that, don't we? And see, I'll probably throw in a couple of my own, like, who's your favorite person? Answer should be me. No, I'm joking. But yeah, go ahead, put in your questions now. We're going to check on those in just a minute. You can use the red question mark box, or the red question mark, yeah, I guess it's a box. You can check that so that I know what is a question, what is just comments. And while you are going ahead and doing that, I want to talk to you just a minute about something that we always do here at Young Adult Edition, and that is a little bit of a giveaway. So we always like to give something away on Young Adult Edition, and usually that is the first chapter or chapter and a half of the book, so that you can kind of get a taste for the story, see if it's for you, and then you can get the book yourself if you have absolutely fallen in love with it. So every single week we go ahead and we give you our copy of the first chapter and a half of the book, or something like that. And if you are not with us live, you can go ahead and jump down into the show notes, where I will have that posted. And I am posting that in our chat box right now, so you can grab your copy of it. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the chat box and see what we've got. Oh, hey, Connie. When did you start writing, and how many books do you have out? Connie is a good friend of ours over here at Young Adult Edition, and she always shows up. Love her for that. So tell us, Courtney, when did you start writing, and how many books do you have out now?
Well, first, hi, Connie. Good to see you. And I started writing in the sense of really working towards being published, and around 2010 and 2011 is when I really started trying to put things out to publishers. But you know, we all write most of our lives and have all those little things in shoe boxes. And in 2011 is when, to answer the second question, my first piece got published. I was in the Gothic Blue Book. I had a short story called Antidote for the Soul. You can still go check it out. It's still up on Amazon on the Gothic Blue Book. And then I have Of Scions and Men, and then I have more coming out next year.
Which, of course, we're excited about. We always love when you have new books out. Let's see. Oh, did you always know you wanted to write a vampire story or stories with vampires? Is that something that you always working toward, or just came to you as you started to develop this story?
Oh, I have always loved vampire stories. It comes a lot from growing up in New Orleans, and there's so much mystery and the supernatural that gets attributed to New Orleans that you kind of grow up with it in your backyard, and werewolves and vampires become your best friends. So I always have enjoyed writing about vampires.
Fantastic. So, oh, here's a fun one. Okay, so we're noticing your hair right now. We know that you've gone through some different colors, and I know, because we're friends and because I've known you for a while, that you do have one specific color that you kind of love to throw into your hair. So tell me a little bit about that, how that came to be, and why that is so important to you.
Well, for a long time, as you said earlier, red has been my color. It absolutely has. And it's an important color in my books. So that tie of red with passion and red with blood and all those come together. So yes, even doing my author picks and my website, black and red are just my thing. But I do like to change up my hair. So I've had blue, and I've had pink, and I've had all these other different colors. And to give an extra little tidbit, I'm keeping the blonde for just a little bit, just about a month or so. And then I'm going to actually put up a poll and let people vote on where I should go next. So
Ooh, I love that.
And I'll let Katie know, and then if everyone wants to jump on when I put that poll up, you can vote, and you will see that, for my fans, I will do the next hair color at their disposal.
That's amazing. When you get that up, I'm retweeting that and putting that all over my social media because we're all going to pick fun colors. I'm so excited for this. That is so awesome. Okay, so we've got a question specific to how you write your books. So are you somebody who sits down and really plots them out, really figures out what steps you want to take, or do you just kind of let it develop along the way?
Am I a pantser or am I a planner or a pantser? A plotter or a pantser? I'm actually a plotser. I kind of combine the two. I used to be a wholehearted, just I will do everything pantser style. And it works fine, but when you're writing a whole series, that becomes a lot harder. You want to make sure that you have that organization. So that's when the plot scene began, where I had my overarching outline of where I want things to go, where it's going to go throughout the whole series and the individual book that I'm working on. And I normally will have a decent W built for that book. But that's as far as I go. I'm not one of the plotters who will actually have that scene by scene, everything's gone out, because I found when I did that, my characters would end up having their own ideas and taking it a whole other, and I'm like, no, where are we going? No! And so I've learned to kind of balance the two together.
I love that. Now, quick shout out, if you guys are interested in this topic, our next episode of RTTV, which is going to air in about half an hour, is featuring Courtney's husband, JP, and we're actually going to be talking about this topic and some ways that we can be planning our characters and our scenes to develop strong characters and scenes. So make sure you check that out.
I will say he is absolutely an amazing planner author. He has all the notes. He puts me way to shame, so y'all are going to learn a lot from him.
Listen, he has sent me his stuff. I've seen what he goes through. It's incredible. I am so impressed with it. I cannot wait to talk about it. It's going to be awesome. Now, on that note of the last question we just asked, you mentioned that every once in a while your characters kind of run away with something and you have to chase after them. I want to know, what is it that they've done? Where have they taken you that you were not expecting to go? So what was the biggest thing you were not expecting that your characters kind of pulled on you?
The biggest thing was my two main characters. I have Rowan and I have Devin. And I was like, all right, well, they're going to be sympathetic to each other, and it's going to ride this edge, and, you know, it's going to be this nice little working relationship. And I put them in the same room with each other, and they became complete fuss buckets with each other and constantly were very supportive of each other, but constantly biting and being sarcastic at each other. And there was this great, and I was like, wait, no, this is not who you're supposed to be. And amazingly, they took me to a much better place than I had originally planned.
I love that. I love that when that happens, when characters pull that on you. So much fun. And makes for great stories, too.
Absolutely.
I'm looking at our chat box, and we're getting some suggestions for your hair color, and I'm seeing a combo of black and blonde, so there you go.
Oh, that could be really interesting. Nice little light and dark all in one.
Right? I love it. I love it. Or we could pull a Sia on you and have the half and half.
Oh, that could be even more interesting.
Or panels. We'll do it in panels. It doesn't even matter what colors you come up with. I'm going to come up with like chunks of this color and chunks of this color. And I'm going to draw pictures for you. It's going to be great.
I appreciate it. We can do whatever we want. It's hair. It changes. It works.
That's true. That's very true. All right, so we are just about at the end of our time, and I want to wrap up with our kisses and confetti. So every week on Young Adult Edition, we do kisses and confetti. Kisses are for the things that we love, and confetti is for the people that we love this week. And every single week, I ask our guest author to tell us about one thing that they love and one person that they love this week that has been totally awesome and rocked out at life. So Courtney, what do you have for us?
All right, the one thing that I love, and it's because I've gotten to work with 3 different groups of them this week, are critique partners. I think that they are the lifeblood. People don't need to write in a bubble, and to have the ability that we can all share and grow together, I think it makes the entire writing world so much better. And this is going to sound incredibly cliche, but the person that I want to shout out this week to is to my son. And that's because it was a really hard Tuesday and Wednesday of this week, and lots of people were really upset. And my son had himself videoed as a dancing raver and was having so much fun on dancing around to music that it made everybody's Wednesday a whole lot better on a really rough day.
Oh, it's fantastic. We love it when kids try to make us happy and they dance and they film it and put it on the internet.
There you go.
That's the best way. All right, so there we have it. Our kisses and confetti for this week, which means the only thing left to do is Courtney's favorite part, and that's throwing confetti.
All right, here it is. Woo! There we go. It didn't really poof out. It kind of hit the screen and went away.
You know, it took me a while to learn that too. What I do is I put it in my hands and then I toss it up, and then that works a little bit better because when I throw it, it just doesn't go so well.
Let's see if it will work better. That worked a little better?
That did work better. We're just gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take just that one little clip of the confetti and I'm gonna put it on a loop and just put that on the internet for you.
There we go.
Listen, Instagram did some updates this week. If you've not been hanging out with me on Reading Transforms, people who are watching, I give social media updates all the time. And Instagram has Boomerang now, so that you can actually make the loops. So just saying, you can do that, and I will probably do that just because it's you, and I will. And we'll put that out there for everybody to see. So enjoy that.
I'd say
all right.
I would not be able to do half the things on social media that I do if it wasn't for you. I learned so much.
Oh, I'm glad that I'm helpful. That makes me feel good. I'm going to clip that up and use that as a reference. I learned so much. Oh gosh. All right. So we are right at time. I am so grateful that you were able to hang out with us today, Courtney. I know it's been absolutely crazy, and this was very quick. So thank you for stepping up and being involved. I love having you on. I cannot wait to have you back. Thank you so much for joining us. Anything you want to say before we go, or you just want to say goodbye?
I'm just going to say thank you, Katie. It was as much fun. This is like the highlight of my week. I had so much fun as always, and I cannot wait to talk to you for the next time. And thank you, everyone who showed up and asked such great questions.
Fantastic. All right, thank you guys so much for joining us. I truly appreciate you being here and asking questions in our chat box and hanging out with us. It has been so wonderful, and I love seeing you guys each and every week. Now, there are a couple of really cool things coming up for Young Adult Edition, but I wanted to give you a quick heads up. Right now, the doors to BookTube School are open, but they close tomorrow. So if you've not heard about BookTube School, if you have not come to check out what we're doing over at BookTube School, make sure you jump on to booktubeschool.readingtransforms.com. We are doing an amazing program where we are training you to go from book blogger and book reviewer over to booktubing, and you will have access to all of our affiliate authors. You will be within the group. We are doing live trainings in addition to the course that you're getting. We are doing group projects. We are getting books from our authors and doing some really amazing things. So if you have not signed up for BookTube School yet, make sure you jump onto booktubeschool.readingtransforms.com. Doors close tomorrow. So this is the last chance you will have until we open next spring. I truly hope that we will see you there. And again, thank you so much for joining us on Young Adult Edition. We will see you next week.